All right, what's up, PTX fam? This is August 1st, 2022. This is another community AMA. As Brian kind of just mentioned before we went live here, we're going to do them at least weekly. Probably do quite a bit more on Twitter as well as here in Discord over the next several days to week. Obviously, our pre-sale is August 10th. So we have a lot of big things coming. Announced another partnership today, a partnership last week, as well as a whole lot of information from the white paper that has come out. So there's a lot to go over today, a lot to go over and with everything that we're building up here. So as Brand kind of did mention, we were trying to, simulcast this to Twitter Spaces. Audio doesn't look great. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do them on Discord for now until I can find a better way to do that on there, or just do separate ones entirely on Twitter Spaces. That way that audience over there can get it. But just for now, reach out to the Discord. Have people join up in here. We'll kind of go over everything and piece all that together there. So first thing I'd like to go over is the latest and greatest of the partnerships that we've got there with MDB Plus. So if you guys have not heard about them, please go check them out. They've not only been one of the more productive projects that have come up in recent times. I think they're 4 months old or so, but they've been stable. They've actually grown during the rest of the crash, and they didn't come out after the crash. So they've done a lot of good things. Basically, how they tend to work is their token. I'd rather them kind of go into the specific details. We're going to have an AMA with them on Wednesday in their Discord, and then they're going to be in our AMA next week as well. But basically, this token is backed by BUSD, so the taxes on it, whenever you buy or sell this, increase the token value and price. So technically, when that token is sold, it puts a positive pressure on the token itself, which is kind of crazy. It's a pretty cool little ecosystem they have over there. I've talked to them for hours the other day, last week, trying to get that all pieced together in my mind to see exactly how it works. But more importantly, what does it do for us? So they didn't, the partnership wasn't like I pay them X amount of money and just hope for the best. It was very much so, what do we want to do? How can we work together? So we're going to utilize our DEX. We're going to have a pair with their MDB Plus token separate from our main pair. We're going to have BNB, then we're going to have this pair as well. So this liquidity pair, this additional liquidity pair will allow that kind of positive token price appreciation that we are seeking here through a variety of different ways. I know I've kind of mentioned liquidity manager services, which this kind of functions in a similar aspect, but a little bit differently. And it could be used in conjunction with another LMS. Using that, LMS, using this kind of system with a liquidity pair that appreciates with the pair value, also using buybacks and burns, as well as obviously decreasing the APY over time, introducing the NFTs. All these different things here are going to allow us to create a sustainability factor that is not seen in rebase protocols. And even some of the best ones that have come out in recent times, unfortunately, while we love what they do, it's very, very predictable. We know exactly what's going to happen. At some point, the emissions is going to become too high, and the token value is just going to go way down from wherever it got to as an all-time high. That's just how it works. So there are ways to offset that, and that's kind of where we're introducing a lot of brand new ideas into this space here that I hope sells pretty well to people. And if it doesn't from day one, it's going to as our token price goes up over time rather than down over time. So this whole buyback and burn thing with this bot, this encourages a system that'll allow us to be net surplus in our burns compared to the tokens being generated. And kind of want to go into a little bit here is how launching in a bear market is kind of scary for a lot of people. In this case, it's probably going to benefit us because we're not going to have 10,000 holders in the first week, like as if we launched 1 year ago today kind of thing. So that helps us allows us to build up all these different mechanisms, allow that LMS to start getting stacked, allow this MDB Plus partnership to start working as it should, some of the other investments, that trading bot to start working as it should, to the point that ideally we can have these burns that are not, I'm not going to sit on this burn wallet for months waiting for the best time. It's going to be every week, not the same time every week because we don't want it to be super predictable, but it's going to be once a week and at the very most bi-weekly. But once a week is where I'd like it to be, if not multiple times a week, just feeding into the system, offsetting these new inflated tokens directly as they are minted. Because if you let that get out of hand, playing catch up is damn near impossible. And we see it with the mighty out there that once that becomes an issue, once the emissions becomes an issue, because they were riding on some euphoria for so long, and that the high of them just kind of got them overwhelmed. By avoiding all of that, this is much easier, for us to keep what we're looking for in the long term. Because if our token price starts diving, then who wants to invest? Does anyone here want to truly invest in a falling knife? The answer is no. Nobody does. But if the token price is staying stable or going up over time, ideally I want to create that liquidity management system to cause sort of like a rising floor effect over time. And it's not going to be significant. It's not going to be like 7 cents to $1 in a 2-month period of time, because that's obviously unrealistic. But if over time it's the floor price is pressured up, and say, okay, this is where we can back it at this price, then it's 0.072, 0.075. And a year from now, hopefully that number will be much higher. So whatever you entered at 0.06 in the presale, or whatever price you got into after the presale, that it is now substantially higher than it was at the presale price. Because if it's less than 1% of where it was, that's no good either. So a lot of these issues are the ones that we're trying to solve and kind of bring new to the space. Because with these pump and dump protocols, people lose interest quickly. But if we can all come together here, CK and Bran are up here with us. I see Walks in the Discord, and I saw several other mods as I kind of try to peek around to see where they all are. But they're all helping me and helping us build this protocol to which it's a genuine passive income in DeFi. And if we can offer you, go ahead.
And that's why I'll give you a little break there, Neil, and I'll just touch base on that APY thing as well. So when we look into protocols, a lot of us here, a lot of us are good friends with each other. We all invest in similar projects, if not all. That's not the only thing we're going for here. Now, we've looked at the rebase model. Now, rebasing is really, really good. One is the distribution of tokens. Two, it helps holders want to hold. Now, within the first month, 2, 3, 4, once you sort of get to month 3, 4 to 5, that is when you really start to see inflation hitting tokens. Now, what we're trying to do with PTX is months 1, 2, and 3, and 4, okay, they will have a higher APY. It'll start at 1.77%, then it'll drop 10%, then it'll drop 10%, then it'll drop 10%. But what you'll find is once you get to that month 4 and 5 where the emissions start to become a problem, that's already given us enough time to implement certain use cases, implement partnerships such as the one we have with Ego. If you didn't attend the last AMA, one of our partnerships with Ego and their trading bots to help, with burn, rising floor, as Shib said. Now, the best thing about the sustainability side is the earliest holders get rewarded. Now, it is a sort of marketing strategy as well. However, it isn't. Now, if you're a long-term believer in a project and you purchase early as possible, you're going to get the most APY in the first month. Now, if you're holding from the second and third month, that's obviously you're still going to get good APY. Let's not, shrug our shoulders at 1.5%. If you've got a $10,000 bag, you're going to be earning $150 a day, which is compounded. Now, the best thing is early holders get rewarded. Now, if you're holding between the first 1 and 3 months, and you've carried on holding, congratulations. Now the APY is lower. However, your bag size is considerably larger, so you won't notice that APY has dropped as much. So if you were earning, say, 10 tokens a day in the first month, by the time you get to the third month, you're still going to be earning significantly more than that, probably around 25 tokens a day, even though the APY has dropped. And that's what it helps us do. Now, 1.77% a day, if that was throughout the whole year, you'd sort of be looking at about 300,000% APY. However, we're able to get it down to around 67,000 APY, which, in my opinion, is still crazy. However, it's not as unsustainable as some of the other protocols, or any that may find trouble with emissions. Now, there's a lot of great protocols out there. A lot of them know how to combat the sustainability issue. However, we just wanted to throw our little twist on it, make it so it's not just another fork. Have that SEM model, have the liquidity model in place, have that rising floor, and in the same time, while the rebase token is working its magic, we can also focus on X shares, we can focus on The ideas with the X shares at the minute are going wild. It's so crazy. The designs of the NFTs are insane. Maybe soon we'll have some teasers to drop for you guys in the teaser channel. But I just wanted to touch a bit on the sustainability, and also the marketing front. Now we've got a lot of marketing connections, AMAs, coin market cap, everything. I've touched on this before. If there's a connection in crypto, we've pretty much got it. Pretty much direct access. However, what we're looking to do is, as you guys know, we've touched on it before. There is a business model that we're working on. If you've been on an AMA, you'll know a bit about it. I don't want to touch too much on it, because obviously Neil said we're still working on a business model for that so we can pitch. Now, what we're looking to do, instead of wasting money on these mass amounts of YouTubers that will have the same views, YouTubers that, generate bot views. Now, speaking in a realistic term, from someone who's been involved with crypto marketing for almost 2 years, you pay 10 grand for a 5-minute video, it gets 1,000 views, no one comes from the video. You pay 50,000 for a feature from a massive YouTuber, no one cares because they didn't watch that video to get your sponsorship in it. It's very, very hard to market a crypto in this space. Every single day, projects throwing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars at everything. So the way we're trying to work it is marketing the business model. Now, whether that be at expos, whether that be to direct VC firms with partnerships, and that's what Neil was already trying to build. The relationships within crypto are much more important than the marketing and paying for the AMAs and paying for this. We're still obviously going to do that. We are going to market heavily, but we are also looking at more sustainable methods of marketing and reaching out to businesses. Here's what we have to offer. What can you offer? And working to build within the space instead of trying to separate and stand out from the space. Building with other projects is awesome. Super excited to work with Ego, MDB, and anyone else we work with in the future. But yeah, I'll pass that back to Shib. If you do have any questions, drop them in main chat, drop them in AMA questions, and I'll read them out. Any ones we got for Neil if there's nothing else to go over.
Yeah, so that's great there. And I mean, pretty much what we're building here is something that's going to actually make you money in the long term. We've all been around long enough through a bear market. We can all say we've experienced that. So let's learn how to make some actual money and not promise, crazy high returns indefinitely, because that just quite simply is not the case. And it could be even better if we are showing, true progression and true sustainability and even appreciation in token price. Eventually we hit another bear market. We as Brand said, we have partnerships going, but we can also do additional marketing campaigns at any point. So bear market starts hitting, Bitcoin gets back up to 80,000 and we are cooking. Obviously, we're going to be throwing more money to get out into the mainstream, bring in new investors over time. So just because we're going to launch and ideally have some success early on because we're setting it up properly, doesn't mean that we're going to stop trying to build from there over time. So I very much so look forward to everything that's to come. The Ego partnership is amazing. The partnership with MDB is going to be phenomenal. They are great people. I don't want to stress this enough, but try to get into the AMA on Wednesday with us if you can. If not, we will have another one here next week. They'll join us. So that'll be something to look forward to as we all kind of navigate. So Brand touched on it a little bit. I would like to go just a little bit into the NFTs. So I've heard a lot of questions about that. For any of the holdover Bigfoot audience, there's some questions that you guys would like answered. So NFT price, what am I going to base this off of? Because they're not going to be the same tokenomics as Bigfoot. We're clear on that. I've made that very, very transparently clear. So from day one, portion of the buy and sales tax is going right into a wallet that'll be used to distribute to the X shares, which are the NFTs. So you can kind of read over, in the white paper about what all that is there and how that works. Just because the NFTs are not going to be released day one does not mean that there is not going to be funds for them, right? So let's say we really blow up and we take off, and whatever the dollar amount is that we have in this wallet is incredibly high because we have a max 20,000 NFTs that'll ever be distributed from that base model. And if any are upgraded, it's upgrading. So you're getting rid of the old one and upgrading to a new one. So with all that in mind, if we can automatically distribute X% of what's in this X-Share wallet to the NFTs upon them launching, as in there's already going to be money in this wallet for those NFTs the moment that they launch, That's sort of what I want to see before I set an official price. Because if that number is higher or lower than what I'm expecting, then obviously the price needs to be adjusted accordingly. So, if we have crazy amounts of money that get into there, it might push the prices up a little bit more, which will then directly correlate to, a bit of a difference of the value compared to the NFTs that were purchased under Bigfoot. So all that stuff, let me work through there. It should be just a few weeks after we get launched from the phase one here until I can have a true idea, have the contracts set up for those, and have it all ready to go. And then automatically we're going to list them available for everybody. The airdrops will come accordingly, and they'll kind of all move from there. But that revenue share system with the NFTs is going to work in incredible conjunction with the rest of the protocol. So let's just say the theoretical, this is like best case scenario. The world has, the sun is shining upon me, right? And we sell 20,000 of these NFTs minus whatever airdrops. Let's just use 20,000, make it a clean number. And we list them at 0.5 BNB each. And, BNB at the time is 300 and 300. Let's just go $300. Okay, that's $1.5 million. Of that money, the entirety of it's going to go right back into the protocol. Nothing's coming out to any of us, nothing like that. I'll probably put more than 50% of that right into the trading bot. And then the rest of it will go to the treasury, will go to other investment opportunities, maybe more into the MDB liquidity pair, maybe into another liquidity kind of booster, things like that. It's going to be distributed very similarly to how the pre-sale will be. It'll almost be like a second pre-sale allocation from there. So let's just say the best case scenario of a 50% goes right into the trading bot. And the worst that the trading bot has done thus far since it's been out has been 20% a month, and we get 90% of that. That's an additional $135,000 into the ecosystem that is solely designed for burns. That's the whole purpose of it, every single month on the floor. And if it does 2 or 3 times 1 month, well, congratulations. It's going to obviously give us, hundreds of thousands of dollars to work with. Now, you can compare that to, hey, what if 25% of them sell, 50% of them sell? It doesn't really matter. Those numbers are still very, very meaningful, and they all push us towards the long-term goals of creating a token appreciation via burns. Once we get that net surplus in burns, we allow that to continue to grow and fund in that pool. And that'll really give us a kind of like a buffer point to mitigate some of the issues that could pop up over time. So all those things there, and good thing we have the best team on the planet that'll always be here with us. So fear not, we have great team members now. None of the craziness from before, so we look forward to building together as one. And that's what I want us all here to kind of come on to as, is we are a family. We're going to, none of us are going to thrive unless we're all thriving. I don't want to be one of those that the first in are the first ones out and everyone else kind of gets screwed. And that's from the team all the way to the investors. I want everybody to be able to benefit in this system. So I very much so look forward to building all these different pieces here, the PTX part, the DEX, with XSwap, the NFTs, everything else that we have coming down the line. The website should be done pretty soon. So I'd like to get that out either later this week or very, very early next week. I think you guys are going to be very, very impressed with that website. It doesn't look like a shitty half-assed website that a lot of these protocols have. So I very, very much look forward to what we have going on here on the totality of things. August 10th is when the pre-sale starts. Help us out. Be a friend. Tell the world. Get that info out to everybody. We have a shield template. If anybody here wants to be on this shield team, all you're going to do is just try to be as proactive as you can. Get the information out on Twitter, get it out on Discord, tell your friends, give you a cool role. I'll be doing some giveaways within that shield group probably later this week, just for those people that have that role. I'll also do some for everyone else. But just keep that in mind. I want it to benefit you, and the more that we get in here for the pre-sale, the quicker we can hit the ground running. So I very much so look forward to all of that coming up there. So unless I've missed anything, let's try to get into the written questions. Of course, if anybody would like to speak live, simply request to speak. We'll bring you up here. Or if you just prefer to ask a question in the Discord, type it into the AMA Questions Weekly channel in the Discord, and we will answer them live for you. Let's see. Hey, Brian, do we have anything in there in the written questions?
Just having a little look now, man. It doesn't seem like there's too many questions. Give me 1 second. AMA questions. Right, we do have a few. One thing I want to ask is, our current community is very small and we need members to fill in the pre-sale. What's your new plans to attract for the decks? Right, I'll answer this and then I'll pass it on to Shib. So myself and Wox today, if you didn't notice, there's a couple of new channels. I've got a bunch of shilling material being made. Wox is currently working on social media packages. So me and Wox will be working directly to grow Twitter, Instagram, all of the social medias by strategically marketing, providing you guys with shill templates as well, providing you guys with infographics for you guys to use. You don't have to go out your way and stress about making them. There'll be a whole section and a whole designated area for you to go. Here's a template. I can change this up. Here's a picture. Let me use this. Now we're working extremely hard. I already spoke to Shiv. I'm going to be doing that all night tonight. Me and Wox are going to crack open the Photoshop and give that a go. And we'll also be partnering. Now, the biggest way we can grow the community, and it sounds so ironic, and everyone will say it, but it is word of mouth. And I'll give that when I've been in other projects. My boy Jay, he's told me about it. He's gone, bro, you need to get in this. You need to have a look. And then that gets you to do your research. I mean, you could see a million adverts about ProtocolX and you'd never click them. But you could have one friend come up to you and go, hey, man, I'm having a little look into this. Take a look. So if you truly believe in the protocol and you truly believe in the project, do share around. Like I said, I'll be dropping a lot of shill material, a lot of artwork, a lot of templates for everyone to use. And that being said, we'll also be doing, as Shib said, we've got partnered AMAs coming, we've got paid AMAs coming, we've got a lot of stuff coming. The plan was a couple of weeks before pre-sale, which is now, to ramp up the speed, and that's exactly what we're doing. We needed to make sure that all of our eggs are laid, everything is fresh, everything is lined up, and that we're good to go. So all the information is accurate, all the information is there for you guys to use, and that's what we're implementing now. How do you think and I'll pass this one on for Shib, this one would be good for Shib to answer. About the decks, what is your plan to introduce projects to the decks?
Yeah, so I do want to go into a bit of that. So there's a couple different ways to look at how protocols run a decentralized exchange or a DEX, right? So we've seen some where their primary function is to basically get as many protocols on there as possible because it generates revenue for them, to be honest. And that's mostly how they function, right? So we're going to utilize ours a little bit differently. So I paid to have this thing built. Obviously, building a DEX isn't the cheapest thing in the world, but primarily I built it because I want us to have access to it. I want us to be able to use it to build our own product primarily. So everybody that's going to be on the DEX is going to be, generally speaking, an official partner in some capacity. So Ego, we're going to have them on there. Obviously, the MDB Plus liquidity pair is going to be on there. We can have them maybe set up some staking or pools. I know they do a lot of staking on their end. Maybe can translate through. And then we can just start doing stuff with our things. So the XSwap token is going to be a farm token. We're going to have staking of our primary PTX token. There's going to be a variety of things that we can do to grow and facilitate our own growth where we don't have to worry about the fees from PancakeSwap, for example. Because over time, especially as you get big, they do add up. If you guys were involved at Titano, you would see massive sales every once in a while, almost randomly, because the swap will sell the tokens that it's getting as fees. So we can avoid that. More so, this is to benefit us and to benefit the community primarily, and then benefit the partners, because we're going to have this DEX. We're on Binance Smart Chain. Until I can expand otherwise, I'm going to start bringing in additional partners that are good people with good products that actually have a strategy, a plan, and they're not a bunch of scammers and crooks, and allow them to use the DEX with us. With really the sense of it being like just a DeFi centralized passive income kind of DEX. We are functioning on there, we're operating on there, and as it grows organically, then so be it. But I'm not going to shove a bunch of shitty protocols into the DEX just to get some extra revenue. I'm just not going to do it. We can host pre-sales and stuff like that, but we'll take
as
that.
As Neil was saying, is that with PancakeSwap, you've been in projects. I've been in projects. You see a $1 million sale. Now, none of that's going back to these projects. None of that's helping any project. Now, if there is projects that we get and we know they're going to be massive, volume providers, now that's where you can work out a deal. Hey, a percent of this goes to the marketing for you. A percent of this goes to growing your own token. That's where you can work out individual deals with these tokens instead of going directly to PancakeSwap. You could say, hey, we can use this for X reason, and instead of PancakeSwap selling at $400,000 and it completely disappearing, we can use that for X marketing. We can use that for growth. We can use that for extra business propositions. So it just allows more and more options for other tokens. Now we can't obviously explain everything that we have planned, otherwise, you just can't in business. It's very difficult to give out all of the secrets. Otherwise, things happen, people do it, and then the one guy above you with a little bit more money takes over and they implement it before you. Now we're working on these plans, working on bringing the partners in. We've already got 2 partners secured already prior to launch, prior to the website even being live. I don't believe getting people to use a DEX will be difficult. We've already seen in recent times a DEX being used and implemented. However, we've also taken the mistakes that said exchange used and taken criticism from their community and use that to build up our own plethora of knowledge. And using feedback from these other protocols can only help you. See, one thing I like to touch base on is if you can't take criticism from your community and use that to better yourself, then what's the point of the community being there? So if you guys have any suggestions, you guys have any worries, queries, even if you think you got a better idea than anything we've spoken about today, we will always hear you out. No idea is a dumb idea. It's extremely, extremely important to have an outsider's perspective on situations like this. Because we've all been in situations where we've given feedback and it's been completely ignored, or we've given feedback and nothing's done about it, and whatever you've said has happened, and it's gone to shit, basically. So yeah, please do leave your suggestions. Make sure you're giving feedback, and if you've got any ideas for the DEX, partnership agreements, ways we can use that to get people in, we're fully open for it. More than welcome to all of your ideas. Right, we've got another question for you here, Shib. I believe it is the last one. I'm a bit confused. As I understand, the NFTs will be updated to XShare, where it will generate XSwap. Then PTX is a rebasing token where you can exchange for X keys for lotteries. Is that the case? If possible, can you please also give an example of a scenario of how the ecosystem would sort of work moving forward?
Yeah, so I'll kind of break that down here. I know our little ecosystem that we already are going to have pretty quick after launch is more than what most of these DeFi protocols have. So I'll kind of break it down little by little. So as far as the whole Bigfoot side of it there, what I put in that general announcement is where I stand with that. That the XSwap token is going to be the same tokenomics as a BGFT token was. There'll be an airdrop for all those staked, unstaked, etc. With the NFTs stopped accumulating, I guess, over that around, I guess it was July 10th, if my brain works correctly. Basically, when we would have gone live, the emissions were going to stop from those NFTs. So that's the cutoff. That is that airdrop. This is what I'm going to work off of. Already have everything documented for that. So you're going to get the XSwap token, which will be the primary token of the DEX. It'll be a farm token by nature with 5 billion per year over the course of 10 years, 50 billion max supply ever. I can do different pools with that, like annual, monthly, weekly, whatever. Could do a lot with those tokens there. The NFTs, I kind of went into that a little bit earlier. If the NFTs are listed at 1 BNB, for example, it's going to change the distribution than if they're listed at 0.1 BNB for sale, right? So I have to take all that into consideration. I haven't set a price yet, so I know people have gotten frustrated with me there. I'm not going to tell you something I don't quite know yet, right? So allow that to kind of get settled there. There will be a very, very fair exchange or airdrop exchange of the old NFTs to the new ones. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm trying to be somewhat nice. I haven't heard from Green Yeti since July 10th, so do with that what you will, but I'm not going to pretend like the value from there is going to be of any use on his side. So I'm going to create that value on my end because I actually have control over that. So allow me to work all that there, not a huge deal. But let's just do a little example while we're playing. So let's say you had 1 million tokens of BGFT. So you're going to get an airdrop of 1 million XSwap. With that XSwap, it's a farm token by nature. You can just sell it. You can, put it back into some of the different pools on the DEX. There'll probably be some staking, stuff like that. So you can put it back into the ecosystem with the idea that it's going to, gain you something in return, right? So that'll be what it is. You can sell it or use it as a farm token. Then let's say you get in, you have whatever 10 NFTs from the old NFTs, and then you buy another 10 because you like them. So now you have 20 NFTs because you like the idea there, and now you want to upgrade this NFTs, at least one of them, to the higher tier one once I release that tier. So this whole X key system is directly a burn strategy. I'm going to have the smart contract set up for them to exchange that PTX token, the rebasing token, for the X key for X amount, right? Whatever the cost is, and the smart contract will route that to the main dead wallet address. So the one that no one has access to. It's an immediate burn of that token. And then from there, you get these X keys. These X keys then can be used for the lottery. They could be used to upgrade, and they could be used for whatever else we can develop on from there. They're basically an exchange token that is going to cost PTX to obtain. And instead of us as the team finding a way to benefit off that PTX, the benefit is that they go right to a burn wallet. So it's saying, hey, you're burning this token for us, so we're going to incentivize you by giving you something that you can now utilize with these other platforms. I think the lottery is probably going to be a big hit, to be honest, because it's kind of neat how we can play that, but also with the upgrades. So that gives us just another strategy to burn at. So don't get too hung up on what the X keys are or any of that, because they're not going to be live on day one. Primarily, it's going to be that rebasing token, and ideally that XSwap token will be on day one as well, as far as I understand anyway. Again, I'm not a developer, but we're all on track for there, so that'll be fine. So once all that gets moving and all that kind of builds up, we push that, and then the NFTs come out. And then I start pushing every bit of information about the NFTs very, very clearly, very directly, and often. And then from there, the lottery comes out, and the X keys come out, and the upgrades come out. And for each piece of this, we'll probably have a full Medium article for each and every piece that comes out from there every time something new comes out, because I want to be able to answer the questions in one clean and very transparent way for everybody to understand the most about what's going on, because I do know it can get confusing. If you come in 6 months from now and there's so many different layers of this, like how are you going to know what to do? So that's what we have to address. We're going to take care of everything that happened prior to August 10th. That's already all built into the system. And then afterwards, it's just growing and building and creating a genuine passive income stream for people to utilize into the future and beyond. Hopefully that answered most of that question.
I totally agree. And I just want to say we've got one more question, but I just want to welcome everyone from NDB and the mod group. Just seems like a bit of word is spreading, which is nice to see. I'm glad to have you all here. A soon to launch protocol. Apparently, we're featured on Mod Group, which is a group I know very well. So shout out to them, lads. Thank you for sharing the protocol in your server. I'll pop over there in a minute and say hello. One feature that stands out for me is the LMS system. Just wondering, would this be similar to Horde? Yeah, so Shib touched base on this earlier, really. We're looking more for sustainability. Every partnership we've done, everything we're implementing into the token is all about sustainability. Now, everyone wants a moonshot. However, do you prefer a moonshot, or do you prefer when your token isn't a falling knife? Now, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that sustainability, that floor. If you look into recent tokens, I know it's very early days, but if you look into LAR, Liquid Capital, you can see that their price their price moves very slowly, but it seems to be going up. If you look at Horde, they've got that nice floor. If you look at other tokens that use the same LMS system, it's very, very difficult getting a person to buy a falling knife. Now, we're all crypto investors here. Every single one of us. Would you buy a chart that's had four red candles on the day chart in a row? No, you won't. You wait for an upturn, and by the time you wait for that upturn, you don't care anymore. You've moved on. You found the next one. You found the next Squid token, or you found the next Evergrow, or you found whatever. A lot of people don't realize there is not loyalty in crypto until the person's invested into the crypto and invested into the team. Now, the hardest part is getting the person in. Now, what we're looking to do is to have an attractive chart. Now, we can't guarantee that. However, we're going to implement a lot of things to try and make sure that chart is attractive and try and make sure that we can, sustain a stable price. Now, if we balance that, say, $1 for a month, and that price wasn't going under 90 cents, or that price wasn't going under 60 cents, and it was hovering above $1, people are going to have confidence in that protocol. Now, if you've got a protocol that's falling through the arse, and then bouncing back up and then falling through, if there's no sustainability on the first look, you're not going to bother looking into the rest of it. Now, everything we implement with the partnerships so far is all about sustainability, and that's what we're focusing on now. That's why we did the reducing rebases. Early rewarders get rewarded. Hey, even 1% a day is still a chunk. If you've got $10,000 invested, you're earning $100 a day. Now, that's nothing to snide at. That's compounded. But sustainability is very, very important. And now this is what we're going to stress. With the models that we're building and the models that we're looking to propose as a business and the models that we're looking to, show blockchains and get the partnerships, get funding, get grants, we need to make sure that we have adequate time. Now, enough time where the holders are still being rewarded, where we can grow short-term goals and also grow long-term goals. And that is the aim, having that sustainability to make sure the project survives. Now, what you notice with some of the large rebase tokens is some of them have stopped the rebases because they didn't have enough time to build that idea that they had. They didn't have enough time to grow the project. Now, with the sustainable rebasing, we're able to have that extra bit of time. So instead of the 700,000 a year or 300,000 a year, 67,000. So it gives you that extra bit of time while the holders are still being rewarded, while there's still time to build that extensive model that we're looking to build, while there's still time to implement the short-term models, and also time for people to still earn money. That is the goal. But yeah, to answer your question, something similar to Horde, yes. That is the way, yes.
Yeah, so I'll just touch on that just a little bit. It likely will not be Horde's LMS, but it will be an LMS very similar to Horde. I talked a lot with Horde, and then it just came to the point that I think building our own might be a better strategy. I'll put it that way. They're a great company, great product, stuff like that there. But I think having our own that we have full ownership and control over is the better strategy for us. And an LMS really is not a complicated thing. If you guys don't quite understand how they work, it's genuinely not that complicated at all. So it's not the end of the world. We can get one built up. Whether it'll be for launch or shortly after launch is still up in the air just because of the timing of that. I need to get my other contracts finalized. Then I'll have this one built and added onto it. So keep that kind of stuff in mind there. But in the meantime, we can almost do a manual version of that with the MDB Plus as well as with buybacks and burns, because you're basically just manipulating the liquidity pool, things like that. Not quite the same exact philosophy, but it's the same generalization of what the goals are. So having an LMS is very, very important. It's going to prevent us from 10 timesing in the short term, which is nothing's 10 timesing in the short term these days. So that's okay. It just allows us to grow and be sustainable over time. And that's what we're looking for here is an actual passive income stream. I don't want us to moon and then, 3 of you guys of the 28 in here make a lot of money, and then the rest of you guys get screwed over. It's not my goal. So we're going to keep building, allow that to be a genuine passive income stream, and an LMS model, very similar to how Hordes works, will be what we will be implementing in the nearest of the future.
But yeah, touching on that just quickly, I just want to say this is one of the largest AMAs we've ever actually had, spanning from Bigfoot to now. So I just want to thank everyone for coming, sticking around. If you're old, if you're new, we appreciate you coming. We're here to answer your questions. I've put an @ here in the AMA questions if anyone has any other questions. If not, feel free to raise your hand to ask some questions. We will be doing another AMA on Wednesday with MDP. Oh, sorry, my mind's gone blank. As Shiv said, and we'll also be doing many, many more AMAs. We'll try to get some out, some face ones. If you haven't noticed, we're doxed already. You can scroll up in the general announcements. We'll be doxed on the website. And we also have KYC as well, and we'll also be looking at getting future audits as well with KYC through some of the direct connections we have. So if you've got any questions, feel free to raise your hand, ask them away, and we'd be happy to answer them.
Yep, we'll give you guys just a few minutes here to kind of get that figured out. I'll filibuster just for a minute, but I'll try to get out a basically a list of all the AMAs that we're doing. I have a lot. I have most of mine scheduled for next week, to be honest. So why do I do that? Because if this is such a fast-paced environment that if we started doing AMAs 2 weeks ago, then those people who saw it, they might remember about the August 10th, but then something else pops up and they put their money into there, and something else pops up and now they're distracted by a ton of different things. So this allows me to really kind of just bottleneck this thing into the last second. I guess the last couple of weeks, because that's the primary aspect of this version of marketing. Well, the last 2 weeks I spent building relationships and partnerships. So I think it's a good way to do it, and it's going to allow us to kind of get that true organic growth. We'll have some different things throughout the week, whether it's like an invite contest or giveaways, just to get some eyes around, and if they don't bring in a lot of legitimate people, that's okay. I want some eyeballs on us as we get into the launch week, because most of these discords are honestly dead 2 days before launch. Nothing's going on in them. So you guys are doing great. Please do me a favor, try to spread the word, keep everybody engaged, because that's what helps us help you as we grow. We don't necessarily need the entire pre-sale to sell out instantaneously, but if it does, that really does set us up for, it sets us way ahead of schedule in a lot of different aspects. So that would be fantastic. But at the same time, we're realistic. Let's build, let's grow, let's get the product out. If people want it, they're going to come to us, whether it's in the pre-sale or after, it doesn't matter. So help us help you. I think I filibustered enough. Do we have any questions listed there before we kind of close this up 45 minutes in?
That's it, yeah, man. I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming, giving us the opportunity to speak in your ear for an hour. But yeah, man, we'll be doing an AMA, partnered AMA on Wednesday. We'll have another one same time next week, and I might even try to squeeze one in, a Twitter AMA on the weekend, just so we can get some expansion, open up our Twitter. And like I said, Wox and myself are going to work on some graphics tonight, get you guys all geared up. I know some of you, Dante, I can see you, brother. I know you're one of the shield captains everywhere, man. So we'll get that all set up so you guys have all the graphics, all the words you need, all the templates you need, everything you need, and we'll obviously start rewarding some people as well. We'll do some events, do some giveaways, and we'll be looking to do some of them shortly. But I just want to say I'll close it out here. Seems like there's no more questions. From myself, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. We look forward to this launching. I look very forward to you all seeing the website. The website is insane. Stands out quite well as well. Beautiful website, and obviously the decks and the D-app to follow. But for myself, I just want to thank you guys for coming. Have a lovely evening, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Yep, and just close it out. Hey, thank you to everybody on the team. Thank you, Brand. Thank you, CK. Thank you to all the mods and all the team out there. And thank you to Ra. You're not a formal mod, but you're a mod in spirit and heart. You're doing great out there. So appreciate all you guys. Thank you for joining us on our weekly community AMA. There'll be plenty more to come this weekend, next week. So get those questions in, be a friend, tell the world, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon.